Hey everybody, welcome back to Rain and Pours. I'm just going to do a really quick video showing how I remove the tape from the back of my coasters once they've all been resined and finished. So I've got two sets of coasters here that I poured in the Sheleeart Bloom style. I've got some blooms up the top here and the exact same colour palette which I've just done in a swipe style. I applied the resin to these yesterday, so 24 hours have passed. And these are all nice and set and ready to take the tape off the back. Now I recommend doing it within 24 to 48 hours so the resin's nice and soft, and you'll see how easy it is for me to remove the tape the way that I like to do it after this time period. So the way I do this, I'm just going to move these out of the way. I take a long bladed craft knife, something that's nice and flat, and I angle it downwards towards the tile in my case. And I'm going to try and get the tip just underneath the sticky tape, and you want to run your blade in a nice smooth motion all the way down underneath the tape, and you can see that's lifted that nicely there. And just run it all the way down all four of the sides, and this should cut through that resin nice and easily, and it's as easy as peeling off that tape to reveal a perfectly smooth clean back. And these little bits where the tape just hasn't come off cleanly, just cut that back, pare it down, and remove all that tape. And now I'm left with a perfectly straight, nice, clean, sharp edge. Now I'll show you that again. Grab your piece, and I start maybe a couple of millimeters away from the edge, and grab the knife tip down underneath, and it's just resting slightly underneath the tape. Doesn't matter if you don't cut all the way through it. Like here I've cut, just cut like a little pocket, that doesn't matter, as long as you've made that cut and severed the resin from the side. Sometimes you'll encounter little patches where the paint has gotten underneath the tape. That's perfectly fine, just go a little bit more careful so you don't slip with the knife and jump over that. Cut through all the way around, and this little bit here, just turn the corner, and you'll be able to peel that straight off nice and clean, and again go around and clean up those edges. Now if you're putting cork backings on these like I do, so you won't see any of this underneath, and this is what I was talking about with the paint getting underneath the tape. That will harden and it will be a lot harder to scrape off. Don't worry about that. Again, if you're putting the cork on there, no one's going to know. So I may show you how to apply the cork as well, just in case you're curious. So you can buy self-adhesive cork backings on Amazon, eBay, anywhere that retailers like that. You may even be able to find them in your local craft stores. Now the ones that I get are 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter or 4 inch by 4 inch, and they're slightly bigger than my tiles. So what I do is in my preparation video, I show you how I cut these down to size. I just place the piece of cork underneath my tile, I level it up against the table, and I just take my Stanley knife and a craft mat and cut it nice and flush. Then it's just a matter of peeling the self-adhesive back off, lining it up nicely with the corner, and pushing down. Now my tiles have a slight lip around the edge, so what I like to do is run my thumbs right around the edge of each tile as I do this, and push that down really, really well. The glue that is on these cork backings is actually really quite strong, but it relies on a mechanical pressure being applied to activate that glue. So some glues cure with contact to the air, such as Gorilla Glue. These ones act on mechanical pressure. So as long as you stamp that down nicely with your fingers or your thumbs, that's not going to come off anytime soon. The other thing you can do is once you're done, just give it a good push on the table and make sure that it's nicely adhered. So that's the long and short of how I take the backs off my coasters. And I used to pull the tape off one strip at a time and then go back in with the Stanley knife or the craft knife and cut the edges flush. But I figured if I'm going to be doing that anyway, just do it all in one step and save the time and the hassle of having to go back in afterwards. Now if you do find that your resin has cured a little bit more than you would like and it's very hard to cut, what you can do is take your heat gun. Don't use a blowtorch, use a heat gun for this, and just run it around the edges where the resin has set in the drips, and you'll find it's most likely going to be more difficult where there are drips that have stuck out like this compared to where it's been flat. Just take your heat gun, warm up that area for a couple of seconds. You really don't need much, and you definitely don't want to heat it to the point where the paint is bubbling underneath, and that will just soften up that resin enough that you should be able to cut through it nice and easily. And there you have it. So in a matter of seconds, you know, I've done 4 tiles already. This process doesn't take too long. It's much easier than sanding everything back and trying to get it all nice and flush after the fact. And to apply the backings, it takes a couple of minutes to do a fair few of them, and they're ready to go. So just while I'm here showing these nicely resin pieces, these are all done with This Little Piggy pigments, and it's the perfect example of how much these shimmer and shine under resin. They're just absolutely amazing. Some of the other pigments that I've tried just don't have this level of shimmer, and they retain their colour so well, they don't fade at all. So there you have it. That's how you remove the tape from the back of your coasters, if you were curious, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.